In this lecture, you're going to write your first program in Python. We'll be using Visual Studio Code from now on, so if you haven't installed it yet, follow the instructions from the Install and Configure Visual Studio Code section. Also, make sure that you have Python version 3 set up on your computer as described in the section Set up Python on your computer. Let's start by opening VS Code. We're going to create a new file by clicking File and select New File. A new file gets created with the name Untitled1. Have a look at the status bar at the bottom. The status bar is enabled by default, but if you can't see it, go to View, Appearance, and select Show Status Bar. The status bar tells us that the newly created file can hold plain text. We'll change that in a moment, but first type the following in the editor window. Print Hello World. Now click File again and choose Save As. Name your file firstprogram.py and save it. The py extension here denotes a Python source file. You should name all your Python source files according to this pattern. xyz.py, where xyz should provide a concise description of what the code does. After saving the file, right-click in the editor area and select Run Python File in Terminal. Visual Studio Code adds a new panel below the editor, and you should see the text Hello World displayed in the terminal. The print here is a built-in function that lets us output text to the console. We must write it all lowercase, otherwise it wouldn't be recognized as a valid function name. Let's change the print to print with a capital P and see what happens if I try to run the file again. As expected, we've got a name error. I undo the change to get rid of the error. Now let's talk a bit about the print function. An opening parenthesis follows the function name print. Then, between double quotes, we provide the text to be output, Hello World. And we end the statement with the closing parenthesis. We must surround the text to be printed with quotes. You can also use single quotes. Python won't complain. Thus, both of the following statements will work. You need to be consistent. Either use single quotes or double quotes for your strings. Don't start with a double quote and end with a single quote or vice versa. Otherwise, you will trigger a syntax error, as in the following example. Now I remove this faulty line and let's print something else. Print Hey Steve. Feel free to use other names. Actually, you can print anything you'd like, just make sure it's surrounded with quotes. Also, start each of your print statements on a new line. Use triple quotation marks to delimit your text if it must span on multiple lines. The following statement will appear as it is in the terminal. Finally, don't forget to save your changes by clicking File, Save, or use the shortcut Command-S on a Mac or Control-S on Windows. You can run your program whenever you wish by right-clicking in the editor area and selecting Run Python File in Terminal. Congrats! You just implemented and successfully ran your very first Python program. You made the computer print various texts. Next, we're going to write a program that waits for user input.